What up, Screen Fiends? I'm GB, and you're tuned in to Headz TV, where we like to discuss all the wonderful things appearing on your movie and your TV screens. In this episode, I'm going to give my predictions for the next episode of Fargo, which would be Season 3, Episode 4, titled The Narrow Escape Problem. Okay, remember I said in one of my past reviews, I think for the first episode, or maybe it was a predictions video, I don't know. But I've said in the past that all of the titles seem to be dealing with the law of something, or the problem with something, or problem solving in some way. So it seems like that's what we're going to be getting for the entire season. Okay, now, the synopsis for this episode reads, Emmett and Cy try to sort things out. Nikki and Ray track down some collateral, and Gloria learns more about Maurice. All right, let's start out with Emmett and Cy try to sort some things out. So obviously they're talking about dealing with the VM Vargas situation and the infiltration of their business by his organization, whoever they might be. So we see from the trailer that he visits Emmett's house during dinner time. It's dinner time. And I'm sure we'll get a nice, uncomfortable meeting between the family and VM Varga. I'm sure it'll be pretty intense. Always like what they're doing with him. So I imagine that Emmett and Cy, even if it's not in this episode, are going to come to a realization that the only way they can deal with VM Varga is one of two ways, really. The police, or hiring some other bad guys to get rid of VM Vargas. So what I think they're going to do is, we can't do the police because there's some shady business dealings going on, obviously. So I think what they're going to have to do is resort to finding another criminal or criminal organization to take down VM Varga for just money and not, wanting a piece of their business. But of course, that's all going to backfire. But now, I don't know if that's going to happen in this episode, but I'm sure by the end of it, the realization is the only way to deal with this guy is going to be by force, because he's not listening to reason, and they're obviously not reasonable people. So that's probably all we're going to get really with the Emmett and Cy stuff, is just them dealing with VM Varga and trying to figure out a way to get out of it. They've tried talking. I believe they will try talking at least once more. And then it's going to turn to, well, talking didn't work, so what's next? So that's the progression I think we're going to get of their storyline in this episode. Because now think, they're trying to escape a problem, right? It's the name of it is the narrow escape problem. So they're trying to escape the VM Vargas situation. Okay, then we have Nikki and Ray track down some collateral. Now, from all the promo stuff, it looks like Nikki and Ray are going to be dealing with Gloria and her investigation, which I'll get to in a second. But I'm guessing that that's really going to be more it's going to be their story, of course, but we're going to follow that more through Gloria's storyline, I think. And I think their main storyline is going to be dealing with the bridge situation. The gambling situation. Maybe there's another tournament coming up and they need collateral to put down because they don't have the money to enter. That's what I'm leaning towards. Or they don't have collateral on a loan so that they can get money to whatever it is. Somehow they're going to get involved with a criminal element, probably one we haven't seen yet, involving some sort of loan or like I said, in the gambling. I think it's all going to boil down to the gambling because that seems to be what is important to Nikki. And whatever's important to Nikki seems to be important to Ray. So that's where I can see their storyline going. And on top of that, they're going to be feeling pressure from Gloria on the investigation about Maurice's death, which is going to be really fun to watch. Okay, and then lastly, we get Gloria learns more about Maurice. Now, we all were upset to see Scoot McNairy go because he's a good actor and he did a good job playing Maurice in the first episode. But I do think we'll get to see more of Maurice and Scoot McNairy through maybe a few flashbacks here and there. This season seems to be, I'm not going to say heavily focused on flashbacks, but so far in the first 3 episodes, they've used flashbacks quite a bit. So I think that we may get to see more of Scoot McNairy, which will be a pleasure. Now, learning more about him, I think maybe he'll have like a family member or a series of family members that Gloria goes and speaks to. How else can we learn more about Maurice other than through Ray, who was his parole officer and his murderer? And through, but you know, just through Ray is all I can see from characters we've already seen. So they're gonna have to introduce some new characters, and you know how Fargo likes to get a nice wide variety of characters into their seasons. So I can imagine we're going to learn more about Maurice's past through his family and possibly a flashback or two, which will be fun because seeing how Maurice, I keep calling him Maurice, seeing how Maurice was, you know, his whole demeanor and attitude and just personality, general personality. It'll be fun to see where he came from, especially in this world of Fargo, where even the bad guys seem to be nice guys. All right, yeah, that's it for my predictions. You know, I think it's going to be more of a plot building episode. Yeah, it'll probably be slower. We won't get a lot of action, but I think there will be a lot of tension on the VM Vargas side and on the Gloria investigation side. Think back to the movie. Those scenes where Frances McDormand were interrogating people or just questioning people were very tense because of her attitude and her approach. And I can see Carrie Coons not having an exact approach, but a similar approach to where she's very subtle in her questioning, much similar to the way Molly Solverson was in season 1. All right, yep, that's it for my predictions. Like I said, more story focused, I think. Character building. We'll get introduced to some more characters, and we'll start to have the mystery unfold a little bit more, I think. We won't get a lot of answers, though. Like, I don't think we'll get any more connections yet to that opening scene that we're all going crazy about with the Russians, or Ukrainians, I actually think they were. It'll be really, really interesting to start to see the connections. I know there's got to be connections to that opening scene. Fargo is not that show. The Leftovers is kind of that show, you know, to not have the actual connection. But Fargo, I think, will definitely have a connection to that opening scene. All right, I mean it this time. That's it for this one. Let me know what you think about my predictions for next week. Yeah, they're light, but I'm starting to get it. I'm starting to get in the groove of doing the predictions episode to episode. It's much easier to do them for the whole season as a whole, but I'm getting the hang of doing them episode to episode, using the trailers and the synopsis and even a little of the casting to try and get me through. All right, sound off down below. Like I said, let me know what you think about this, my predictions. Let me know what you think about my video. Let me know what some of your predictions are for episode 4 or even for the rest of the season. Definitely like, share, subscribe. I know I say that every video and I'm beating you to death with it, but you know, it's really important to me. It's really important to YouTube that you guys show your love in more ways than just views. I appreciate the views, don't get me wrong, but yep, that's just how it works. All right, thanks a lot for watching. Always appreciate it. You guys have a great day, and I will see you next time.